Dissolve the yeast in lukewarm water, or you can make it all at the same time and use lukewarm liquids to activate the yeast. It's important that when you do it, that you keep the temperature at the optimum temperature so the yeast, you don't kill the yeast. And if it's too low, the yeast won't activate. So I use a thermometer to check. It calls for a quarter of a cup of liquid, but we're doubling it, so we need to have a half a cup of water, and it calls for a cup of milk. So we're gonna use 2 cups of milk and a half a cup of water. So essentially 2.5 cups of liquid. So I believe accurate measuring is important. I've always measured things accurately. I don't know if it's my pharmacist training. So, and you're going to obviously use 2 cups of milk. So what does that tell you right away? When we're using this, it's dairy. The butter calls for a quarter of a pound. Obviously, we're doubling 2. We're going to melt the butter in with the milk, and we're going to bring it up to a temperature that when we add it to the yeast, will activate the yeast, and then we'll go on and add the sugar and the flour and the eggs. Also, I think it's important whenever you bake or whenever you cook to keep your area clean. My oven has a proofing mechanism, so I'm going to start that. We're going to put most of the dry ingredients in here, the sugar, the yeast, and mix that, and then add some of the flour, and then we'll bring it to temperature using the melted butter and milk. 1 packet is approximately 2 1/4 teaspoons. That's why I keep this packet, Daniel. 9 teaspoonfuls. And again, accurate. 1,
You don't level it out?
2, I am.
Oh, the shake level.
3, 8, 9. So that's 1 cup. Lock the mixer so that this won't bang up. And I mix the yeast and the sugar together. I will add some flour. So I know I have to add essentially 3 cups of flour, so 6 cups of flour are eventually going to be put into this. I use King Arthur flour. It has a high gluten content, and I think it makes the best bread.
So if you're gluten sensitive, this is not the bread for you. This is
not the recipe for you. So it's way higher. It's 182, 172, 160. Oh. So I have to let that cool down to about between 110, 120. So there's 2 ways I can cool it down. I can take it and put it in a water bath a little bit. You don't want it to be so hot that it kills the yeast.
How many cups are you adding?
I'm going to add about 3. So there's about 1 cup. I'm going to get the flour and the yeast and all the dry ingredients that you have in here mixed carefully. Flour is not flopping all over.
Yeah, you get the flour lid and you're adding the butter slowly to the flour.
And you can see the dough is changing.
2 teaspoons of vanilla. Four and a half. 5. Four.
And then we're going to add some more flour.
This is going to be 5.5 cups. And this is 6.
But we still have another 4 cups of flour that we're going to be adding to this.
That was a big cup.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't, because you're going to add more flour to knead it anyway. I'm going to stop it. I'm going to I'm going to change to the dough hook and let it, like, look at that, feel that. See how, feel the temperature. See, it's a nice warm temperature. It's fine.
Yeah, it's getting warm.
It's fine. Okay, so put the dough hook on. Put some more flour in. And the dough hook will knead this flour in.
So now we're at 6.5 cups of flour.
Yeah, but the thing is, we need to have 3 cups and 2 cups, almost 10 cups of flour will go into this mixture. So we're going to knead it for a bit. You'll see that the dough will start pulling away from the sides of the pan. So then what we're going to do is, I'll put in a little more flour in there, and then we're going to hand knead it. Get to, remember, how much is this bowl gonna hold? So we're going to get to, oh, we can't add any more, okay? We're at the end.
Done kneading. How long did that take?
I'm not done kneading.
No, how long did the hook take?
About 8 to 10 minutes going slowly. Mostly because I don't have a mixer bowl that would accommodate as much flour as I'm going to do. You just incorporate it in with the heels of your, and you give it a quarter turn and incorporate in the flour.
I hope I don't get out of breath.
But you don't want to have too much flour or too little. You want it to be incorporated and smooth and nicely. And I hammed the sides of it so it will have a nice way to rise. And then you put this cover on it I put it in the oven to proof. In fact, I might not even keep the cover on it. Just oven. Put it in here. Leave this board with the flour on it just as it is, because we're really going to use this again. And we roll it out and make the individual ones that will rise again. And let it cook very slowly. Take cinnamon, ground cinnamon. Couple of teaspoonfuls or more. Some nutmeg. Oh my God, this is such old nutmeg. Nutmeg.
Okay, so you can get these
But
pans.
these are really old. You know, you can buy far better ones than these. Probably a lot safer to eat with, too. You can see how it rose, right? Beautiful, huh?
That's pretty awesome.
Okay. Now, okay, so then you go like this. And remember, we greased it, so I greased the pan so everything would come out. The thing is, take the dough, and we're going to divide the dough into 3 parts. This, okay, and we're going to put this over them so they don't get a draft. Okay, you don't want a draft on the dough at all. You want flour so that it won't stick to the dough. So roll it out. I'm gonna go like this. Excuse me. Like a little bit of this, all right? And then put this on like that, making sure you get all the edges. So I go like this. Be generous, make sure you get into every little corner.
If Dad died of diabetes, this is why.
Should not be given to somebody with a nut allergy, obviously.
More for us.
And then you have to get those raisins to make it through these 3 of them. So do this. Put raisins in. And I like golden raisins because they're pretty. Do you know what I mean? And then you go like this. Roll it. Close it. Close it up like that. Sometimes you have to kind of mush it together. Okay. Kind of even it out. Now, we'll preheat the oven. What do you think?
Looking great. It's about $500, $600 worth of bread there, though.